Well, hey everybody, and welcome to Network Maintenance Live. I am Dustin Raybrook, host of the Sysadmin Show, and this is part of a series where every Tuesday night I do a short live stream talking about network maintenance, best practices, tips, tricks for updating your IT infrastructure. And today I'm going to talk about copying or migrating files from one file server to another, because this comes up from one time or another. So let's take a look at that real quick here. Let's see. All right. So what we've got here is my favorite way to do it. And there are ways you can manually just copy and paste a file server or files if you wanted to from one server to another. I believe there's actually some server migration options where you actually use a wizard that Microsoft provides. But my favorite option is to use Robocopy. And this is going to give you a lot more control and a lot more ability to plan ahead and do some more testing. So what we're going to do here is look at the command that I recommend you run. And Robocopy is built into Windows now, so you really don't have to worry about getting it. But if you needed it, you can get it, find it easily on the internet. So what we've got here is Robocopy space the source path space the destination path, all in quotes, and then the /mir command, the /copy all command, the /r:0, and /log, and then the log file path. And as we walk through this, the source and destination are pretty obvious. And I do recommend using UNC paths for those, right? The entire path, not just the shared name or the shared path. And then the /mir is basically going to copy everything that's in the source to the destination. And if something changes in the source and you run this multiple times, it's going to make that change or delete that file as well in the destination. So when you run this the final time, they are going to be identical copies. It's not like a backup where you want to retain any changes in the destination. So the copy all command, that's going to make sure that all the security associations or attributes are copied with it, like NTFS permissions, and we'll look at an example of that. And the /r:0 is going to say no retries. So if it comes across the file and it's in use, or there's some error with it, it doesn't have permission to copy it, it's going to skip that file, and that makes the whole process more efficient. And then you can look at those one-offs on a one-by-one basis, so you don't have to deal with them as part of the whole file, because you could be working with hundreds of thousands of files, and a lot of times you are. So, and the log file dumps the output to a file. So I've got an example here of what we're going to do and how we recommend going through this. So the first thing we do is we set our source, and I'm going to make this source file here the source. So this is going to be my C drive, users, Dustin, desktop source. And then destination, same thing. I'm going to make this the C drive, Dustin, desktop, destination. Oh, and okay, it's not the same thing, but it's close. It's going to the same main path, but it's going to the destination folder, right? And actually, I want to make a change to that really quick as an example. Okay, let's leave it as destination. And then we're going to do all those commands, and I'm going to, right in this log file folder here, I'm going to dump the log file. So let's take a copy of this command, drop it in PowerShell, and I am using an administrative level of PowerShell, running it as administrator. So, all right, it's just that fast. It's done. Let's take a look at our log file first. All right, drag that over, and you can see it's pretty concise because there's only a few directories and files in here. It in total copied 4 files, right, or 4 directories. 4 files, there were 4 directories, but it only copied 3, and it skipped 1, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But no mismatch, no failed, no extras, and these are all empty files, so no real data. So let's take a look at what it did. In my source directory, I have folder 1, 2, 3, and a security settings file, and then in each one of these I have a file called file 1, 2, 3. And inside security settings, or as part of its attributes, you'll see here that this one has a special permission that the others don't have called everyone, where I gave them modify permissions. So we want to make sure that that carried over. So if we go into our destination now, we see the exact same structure. It was not here before. And if we verify inside security settings, we can see that everyone is there. So this took effect as expected. But why did we get that one file, that one setting that said that there was only 3 directories copied instead of 4? Well, that's where we go back to this source, and what it did is it dumped the contents of the source file folder into the contents of the destination folder, right? Or replace the contents of destination with that. So if we were to run this again, let's clear out our destination. And actually, as an example, let's go ahead and put a new folder in here. We'll just call it whatever. And we'll see that that file is going to get wiped out. That folder is going to get wiped out when we run this command. Or maybe it won't because we specified. Okay, so now let's take a look at our logs. All right, so this time nothing's skipped. Total folders copy 4, so everything's looking perfect there. We go to our destination. As I suspected, it did not delete that because that was not part of the sync. Everything that was synced was below that path, and there's a source folder and there's everything underneath it. So you can use this in both ways. It really depends on your folder structure and what you're trying to do. But ultimately, the workflow I recommend with this is first set this up kind of like I did here in a test environment so that you're not messing with production files, and make sure that your script is working as expected. The source is correct, the destination is correct, and go from there to actually sync production. So then put in the real paths and from the old to the new, and sync production, but with production still online. Any files that are in use or that it can't copy, it's going to come across and it's going to dump out to you as a report in the log file. So then you really know what to do and what things need attention, and you can fix those and continue doing that until you get a clean sync. Finally, when you're ready and you know you've got a clean sync, you can schedule the production migration. Go ahead and take that share offline, make sure it's all cleaned out so nobody's got any open files, and when the share is offline, go ahead and do your final sync. This is going to make sure that you know everything that you had on the production, share 1 is now moved over to the new share, and you're good to go. Check your logs, make sure everything looks good, and then activate the new share. That's all there is to it. And that's all I got for today. I want to hear from you, and you can email me, dustin@sysadminshow.com, or you can leave comments in the video below. Until next time, I encourage you to never stop learning.